Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Living intelligently, that is the topic of our discussion during these 2 evenings. Living intelligently, the very topic suggests the fact that we are discussing how to live intelligently means that it is possible to live unintelligently also. Otherwise, there is no need to discuss intelligent living. And this living intelligently is to be taught only to human beings, because human being is capable of living unintelligently. Human being has a choice to live unintelligently also. This will become clear when we compare a human being with other creatures, other living beings, such as animals, plants, vegetables, insects, all other living beings, that they automatically live intelligently. May they live as they are programmed to live. And therefore, their life is naturally in harmony with the order that exists in the universe. Meaning there exists an order or law in the universe. And generally we can say that living a life in harmony with this order, in harmony with the law, will be living intelligently. And living a life that is in violation to the law will be living unintelligently. As is the case in our day-to-day living, that when we conform to the law of the land, then there is freedom from any kind of stress or anxiety. You are free, comfortable when you conform to the law of the land. Simple law as that of a speed limit on the road. It says 65 miles an hour. You have a new Audi car, which is very tempting. The roads in Michigan are wide and open, and inviting this young man to enjoy the thrill of driving at higher speeds. What is it? You can hear me, isn't it? So even though he sees the speed limit is 65 miles an hour, he drives at 70, 75, 80, 85. The thrill. But while he is doing that, in one corner of his mind is aware that he is violating the law, and there is a stress. So when there is law, then there is something right and something wrong. If there is no law, there is nothing right, nothing wrong. If there is a law, then there is something right and something wrong. When you go to the temple upstairs, you should remove your shoes. That's the right thing to do. When you come to this hall, they say that you need not remove your shoes. Okay. As the rules are, rights and wrong. Thus, apparently we have this choice in our life to do what is right as well as to do what is wrong. Because human being is privileged to have what we call free will. We have the freedom to choose. The free will is there. And this free will expresses itself at every moment. That every moment presents before us the choices. And sometimes the choices are quite opposite to each other. And therefore, it becomes our responsibility to make the right choice. For example, when you are driving on the road, you come to an intersection. There's a road leading right, a road leading left, a road going straight. Which road will you choose? Swamiji, the road on the right is a very smooth, nicely paved road. Trees are aligned with trees. It's a very beautiful road, therefore I choose that. The road leading left is bumpy, with potholes, rough road, therefore I avoid that. So this driver chooses a road which gives him the pleasure of a smooth ride and avoids a road which involves jumping up and down, discomfort. He makes a choice of a comfortable ride as against an uncomfortable ride. Is this the right way of choosing? When at intersection, what is the criterion for making the choice of which road to take? Is it the road that promises a comfortable ride? Is it what I will choose? Or is it a road that leads me to destination? Which one will I choose? It is quite possible that the road leading to my destination may be a rough road. Driving may be uncomfortable, bumpy, and still an intelligent person will choose the road that leads to destination as against the road which may promise a comfortable ride. So this is how the choice comes. Sometimes people are tempted to choose what is comfortable as against what is right. The human being has this problem, if you want to call it, that situation offers before us the choices of what is right as against what is comfortable or what I like. What is right against what I like. I like to do certain things which may or may not be right. In case of cows or buffaloes or animals, this conflict is not there. they automatically make a choice which is right. A cow will automatically choose the right food and right quantity of food. If you place grass before a cow on one side and a piece of meat on the other side, the cow has no conflict at all in making the right choice. It will choose to eat grass because that is how it is programmed, and that is proper for the health and well-being of the cow. And this example, a cow is programmed to make the right choice, a choice which is healthy, a choice which is wholesome. Sometimes there are temptations. When food is placed before me, that is often a temptation of things that I love to eat, I enjoy. It may be pizza, which I rarely get, but sometimes I'm served that, and I love that. I know that my stomach can handle at the most one slice of pizza. With that cheese and stuff like that, the stomach cannot deal with more. But my palate, my mind has its own agenda. And therefore, it is not satisfied with just one slice. I go for a second slice, may go for a third slice. And then of course, I have to pay for consequences. In terms of all kinds of acidity and gas in my stomach, which wakes me up in the midnight, doesn't let me sleep. But while I'm eating, I go for that which is pleasant, that which is tempting, that which I like. Thus, as human beings, we have these choices of what is right and what is not right. Understand that I'm not talking about choices between an apple and an orange, Somebody likes an apple, somebody likes an orange. That's not the choice we're talking about. That is preference. You have preference for something, you have preference for some kind of clothes, some kind of shoes, etc. Those preferences are different. But choices are different. If you eat orange, that also is okay. Eat apple, that also is okay. That is a preference. Because both the choices are all right. But when one choice is all right, other choice is not all right. When one choice helps you, other choice hurts you, then it becomes very important to make right choice. So what is intelligent living? Simply defined as making the right choices in our life. Because we have the free will. Although sometimes people do ask this question, Swamiji, do we really have a free will? Where is freedom, Swamiji? When I go to work, it is my boss who decides what I do. I don't have freedom to decide what I want, what I do. Swamiji, even at home I don't have freedom. The better half decides what food is cooked, everything is decided. There also, I have no choice. What choice do I have? When driving on the road, I must tie my seat belt, I have no choice. Click or ticket, they say. It says 55 miles an hour, no choice. Sometimes, Swamiji, I have taken liberty to drive at 65, and you know what happens? From nowhere, a traffic patrolman shows up, and I get a speeding ticket. Where is choice, tell me? When I want to go to a lower floor to my basement, for example, I have to use the stairs. I like to jump, that is very quick, but I don't have a choice. So they say that human being has free will, whereas sometimes we wonder if there is any freedom. Do we have any freedom? Perhaps not a lot of freedom. There are two things in our life. One is called prarabdha, one is called purushartha, other is called prarabdha. Meaning one is called free will, other is called destiny. What is destiny? That which we have no control over, that which is given to us, that which we cannot change, or that which do not control. That is called prarabdha, that is called destiny. What is free will? Free will is where I have a choice, where I can control. So, free will and destiny. Purushartha and prarabdha. Both the forces are there. Because if there was only destiny, life would become very simple. You see, these animals, meaning all creatures other than human beings, have only destiny, they don't have free will. So how do you know that? How do you know what animals have? We know from their behavior that there seems to be no stress, no anxiety at all, because when there is no freedom, there is no responsibility. When there is freedom, there is responsibility. Because freedom exercised with responsibility is only freedom. Freedom exercised without responsibility becomes license, and it may be very hurtful. This person gives an example that as a boy of maybe 12 or 13 years old, is very fond of riding his bicycle, and they go biking. And here is a slope, and it's going down. Now, ideally, when there is slope, you must apply a brake and control your speed so that you can maintain your balance. Young man likes the thrill of speed, and therefore he just goes. And you know what happens? He, even as it reaches the bottom, he is thrown off and he breaks his limbs. So when freedom is there and we do not exercise restraint, then that very freedom can become a cause of hurting us. That is freedom. Let us say that I am a patient of diabetes. The last blood test reported where my doctor told me, Swamiji, you already are too sweet, and there were no sweets for you. The unfortunate thing is that when you have diabetes, that is when you're craving for sweets. I don't know, that's very interesting. I know a friend of mine who never liked sweets. When we were living together, this was another Swami by the way, so when we were living together, people would bring, food for us. So our division was very clear. All sweets would come to my plate, all spicy things would go to his plate. No conflict. After some time, it was discovered that my friend had diabetes. And most amazing, I find that the fellow has more craving. The fellow never liked sweets, now wants sweets. when it is not the right thing. But there is freedom. So, if I exercise my freedom with restraint, then it would be healthy for me. But if I go for that craving, because when the Swamis are invited for bhiksha, the hosts are always very kind, and Swami visits their home in once a year. For Swami it's an everyday routine. But for the host it is once a year, and therefore they cook everything. And there are likely 2 or 3 kinds of sweets. Very tempting. I have the freedom. I'm a Swami. Nobody is going to stop me. But freedom exercised with restraint or with responsibility is a freedom that will help me, whereas freedom without responsibility would hurt me. This is a situation with freedom. A cow will not help itself, nor will it hurt itself. A dog is born as a dog, lives as a dog, and dies as a dog. All creatures are given these basic instincts of ahara, nidra, bhaya, maithunam, meaning eat when you are hungry, sleep when you are tired, protect yourself from fear, and propagate your species. These are the instincts that are given to all creatures, and they live their life that way. There is no freedom, there is no responsibility. So that would be good, is it not so? Would it not be nice if there is no responsibility and therefore there is no conflict, no struggle at all? Would it not be good? Why are we given this freedom? Is it not that by giving us the free will or freedom, then we have the responsibility that puts a big burden on our head? Would it not be nice to live a life without responsibility? Would it be not nice? Sounds tempting, but no, it is not right. This freedom or responsibility is given to us so that we can grow. Human being is the only creature who has the potential of growing. What do you mean growth, Swamiji? We grow every day. We grow and expand every day. What kind of growth we are talking about? That growth again may be due to the freedom that we exercise without responsibility, that growth. But the growth that we are talking about, human being has a potential to growth. Not merely growth at the level of the body. That growth takes place by laws of nature. Our Swamiji says that when a calf is born of a cow, if that calf manages to live for a few years, it will automatically grow into a cow or a bull, it will grow. Because this physical or physiological growth takes place by laws of nature, and therefore we do not have particular thing to do, all we have to do is survive. Similarly, a human child is born, and if it is taken care of, it is protected, it gets its food, gets its nourishment, doesn't meet with any accidents and stuff like that, then automatically growth will take place, and soon the fellow will start shaving, soon he'll be ready for marriage without his or her doing anything. That is one kind of growth. But there is another kind of growth, and that is what we call emotional growth. That is the physical growth, other is the emotional growth. Because what we want is happiness. Happiness does not depend upon physical growth. Happiness depends upon emotional growth. This physical growth takes place essentially more or less automatically by the laws of nature. But emotional growth does not take place automatically. That has to be initiated. That has to be consciously carried out. Swamiji, what do you mean by emotional growth? Well, it is possible that a person may be 50 years old as far as the physical growth is concerned. But it is possible that that person may be emotionally a 10 or 15-year-old person. Have you ever come across these people? I don't mean people with pathological problems, with, challenge, growth, etc. I'm talking about normal people. Very often we grow all right in age, but do not necessarily grow emotionally. Give an example. That when this person was a child, he had a sibling, an elder brother, a brother 2 years older than him. Two brothers were there. His younger brother was apparently suffering from a cough and cold at that time. One day somebody brought candies at home, and mother was giving candies to both these children. She gave one candy to the younger one, to both of them. The older one demanded, "Mom, may I have another candy?" Mom says, "Okay." So the younger one also demanded, "Mom, I also want another candy." Says, "No." "Why? Why did you give him 2 candies? Why did you give me 1 candy?" Says, "Look, you have this cough and cold. If you eat too many candies, then that will contribute to a cough and you will have a problem, you will suffer. I want 2 candies." The mother tried to reason with his child. Child refused, insisted, "I must have 2 candies." Mom was rather strict. She says, "No, you will not get 2 candies." He says, "Well, okay, if you don't give me 2 candies," he threw away, "I don't want any candy." He threw away other candy also. It's all right. For a child, this is okay, isn't it? I mean, what do you expect from a child? This fellow grows to age of 30. Now he's an engineer. He's working in a big corporation and there are different departments. He's part of one of the teams. There may be half a dozen engineers in his team. At the end of the year, raises were announced. He got 1 raise, but his colleague got 2 raises. So he went to his boss. "How come I got 1 raise? He got 2 raises, sir?" Says, "Well, his performance was better than yours." Says, No, I worked very hard for the whole year. I work even harder than him. If he gets 2 raises, I should also get 2 raises. The boss said, "I'm sorry. His performance is better than yours. And therefore, he gets 2 raises and you get 1 raise." "I must have 2 raises." The boss says, "I'm sorry. I don't want to work." He resigns, throws away his job. You remember that child? As a child, he threw away a candy because he did not get what he wanted. As a grown-up person, he threw away his job because he did not get what he wanted. Do you see the similarity between a 5-year-old child and a 30-year-old man? Do you see similarity? We can understand the child does not have any maturity to assess the situation and understand why mother is giving one candy instead of two. We don't expect the child to be able to understand those things. So we understand, okay, why threw away? But as a grown-up man, we expect him to understand the realities of life. That after all, somebody can be better than you. Somebody can can perform better than you. And therefore, somebody can get more than you. It's a reality. But just as a child, this one did not accept that reality, even as a grown-up person does not accept that, we would say that this person has not grown. He is still in the 30-year-old body, he is still a 5-year-old child. You see what I'm saying by growth? This is the emotional growth. So why do we need that growth? Suppose I throw 10, you as a 5-year-old child, he threw 10 times. As a 30-year-old man also he throws 10 times. What does it matter? What matters is that when thus a person has a reacting mind, as an example, he always wants that things should work the way he wants. He wants that the world should rearrange itself around him so that it is convenient to him. That the world should function as he prescribes. Each one of us has many prescriptions. While driving the road, I have prescription. What is my prescription? That all these traffic lights must be so synchronized that when I am driving, I must get green lights. More often than not, I find that they're so synchronized that when I am driving, I'll get all red lights. We see many people screaming. They're sitting in their own car and screaming at what? At other motorists. It's not my telephone, for sure. You know why? Because I have discovered, to my embarrassment, that when I hear a phone ringing, it's my own, there is a phone. But today, I left the phone at home so that I know my phone cannot ring. So we have prescription for everybody. When I am giving a talk, I have prescription for the whole audience. You may not know, but I have in my mind. What is it? That everybody should listen to me attentively, should show constantly an appreciation of what I am talking. I should see on their face a smile of appreciation as to how nicely the Swami is talking, how intelligently he is talking. I have prescription for you. So when I find you just staring at me, or looking and counting the tiles on the ceiling, or all of a sudden getting up from here and walking out, I get hurt. Thus, when we have prescription for the whole world around us, it is very likely that we may get hurt. We get upset. We get angry. We complain. We get hurt. What does it show? It shows that one has not grown emotionally. Because the world is what it is. And therefore, we have to understand these realities of life and learn to accept them gracefully. This is called emotional growth. That to take responsibility is emotional growth. In the Bhagavad Gita, you know the whole situation in which Lord Krishna imparted the teaching of Bhagavad Gita, that in the field of Kurukshetra, the armies of Pandavas and Kauravas are arrayed against each other. The battle is about to begin. The conches are blown. All the battle, instruments are blowing, and there was a very Gita describes an atmosphere, a very tense atmosphere was created. People were all just ready to fight, ready to shoot their arrows and their weapons. At that time, Arjuna requests Lord Krishna, please place my chariot between the two armies so that I can survey both the armies. Okay? Lord Krishna is a charioteer. Can you imagine? Have you ever heard anywhere that the Lord is a servant? Actually, Arjuna and Lord Krishna are very bosom friends. And still, one friend has taken the role of being a servant to the other friend. In fact, Arjuna is a junior friend. Lord Krishna is a much more highly regarded, highly revered person. Lord. But still, when Arjuna requested Lord Krishna, because Lord Krishna had made a condition that on whichever side I am, one thing is that I will not wield any weapon, I will not fight the battle. On the other side is my well-equipped army. You make a choice. Arjuna made a choice to have Lord Krishna on his side, even though the Lord would not fight the battle, would not do anything, meaning would not fight battle, would not wield weapon. And Duryodhana was very happy to get that army. But Arjuna was very intelligent. Lord Krishna would not fight the battle, would not wield the weapon. But Arjuna knew that Lord Krishna was an expert charioteer, driver of chariot. So he requested, Lord, would you please become my charioteer? Now can you imagine your friend, somewhat junior friend, asking you to, will you please cook for me? Will you please become my servant? Will you become my driver? How would you respond? What? You are asking me to become your servant? Your driver? How dare you do that? That would be our response. Is that a mature response or an immature response? What is Lord Krishna's response? Lord Krishna says, all right, Arjuna, I'll surely do that. This is called maturity. What is the maturity here? Lord Krishna sees that this situation demands a certain kind of a response. That Arjuna is in the need of help, and he is in a position to help. Therefore, he has no hesitation at all in extending his help. If it means that I have to be a servant, I surely will. This we see here in the United States. I remember having gone to many temples. If you want to identify who is the president of a temple, usually the person who is mopping the floors or setting up the chair or winding up things. Generally presidents wind up doing this thing because everybody else has left. The president in his personal life may be a very wealthy person, very well regarded in the community, but there's no hesitation in cleaning the floor, in setting up the chairs, because he has accepted that position and he does it happily. Not in India. In India, a president will not touch anything. He will say, come on, he'll have 3 fellows working for him. You set up the chairs, you clean the floor, you do this, he will supervise. Here there is nobody to do anyway, there are no servants in this country. I guess when a person accepts the position of a president of temple, he must know what is expected out of him, including the cleaning, including winding up. And he does it without any reaction, without any hesitation. That is called responding to the situation as required. This is called responsibility. Thus, Lord Krishna shows a sense of responsibility. That is called emotional growth. When one has no hesitation in responding to a situation as the situation calls for. A young reporter, journalist, was once interviewing Mahatma Gandhi. He asked a variety of questions, and Gandhiji replied those questions. And then this journalist asked young man, Mahatmaji, what should I do to be like you? He says, well, come along tomorrow morning to the ashram and join me in cleaning the toilets. So Mahatma Gandhi has no reservation in cleaning the toilets. Can you imagine that? In sweeping the floors. Once he was taking rounds in his ashram and happened to go to the cow shed, the Goshala where the cows were there. This was evening, it was dark, and there was a young boy in that Goshala, in that cow shed, and he was shivering. So Gandhi asked him, he says, don't you have something to cover yourself? He says, no, at night I can hardly sleep, it is so cold. Gandhiji came back to his cottage and started collecting all the rags and all kinds of things that were around and started stitching them without making any fuss about it, without announcing what he was doing. So Kasturba saw Gandhiji, did not ask. He knew that this is not the time to ask anything because he is engrossed in what he is doing. And she realized that he was making a comforter out of rags and torn clothes. And she simply joined him. By about 12 o'clock at night, one comforter is ready. Gandhiji goes to that place where that young boy is sleeping, goes and spreads that over him. Next day again, he just happened to, during his walk, happened to pass by that place. He asked him, says, how are you? How did you sleep last night? He said, I don't know. somebody came and gave me this, I slept so well. That's just examples of responding to a situation. What is called emotional growth is displaying a proper response to a given situation. This Lord Krishna also, at the request of Arjuna, without any hesitation, accepted the position of a driver, of a charioteer. Somebody remarks, look at the Lord, how great He is, that for His devotee He can even drive a chariot. So anyway, at the request of Arjuna, the chariot is taken and placed between the two armies, and you know what happened? Arjuna saw his near and dear ones in both the armies and became extremely sad. He was grieving. He found that the situation was too much for him, and he declared to Lord Krishna, "O Lord, I will not fight the battle. Now you say, I will not fight." Now this is another response, where the situation calls for a response from Arjuna. Arjuna is a warrior. He belongs to the Kshatriya caste in the caste system. And Kshatriyas are warrior castes. And they have a certain duty. What is the duty? Duty is to protect the society, protect dharma, protect righteousness. So this is not the fight between Pandavas and Kauravas really. It is a battle between dharma and adharma. Pandavas stand for dharma, and Kauravas unfortunately stand for adharma. Dharma means righteousness, adharma means unrighteousness. What is dharma? What is righteousness? Conforming to the basic law or the order of life. And with adharma, unrighteousness, violating that law. Therefore, Arjuna came to battlefield he was very clear what his role was. His role was to act as a Kshatriya warrior and to protect dharma. But when he saw his kith and kin, near and dear ones, that attachment, that emotionalism took over him. Attachment took over him. He says, "Oh, these are all my kith and kin. How can I fight against them? What will I do without them?" And thus he became totally emotionally overcome. He was overcome by grief, and he declared, "O Lord, I will not fight the battle." What is this? This is lack of emotional growth. So here we are giving you the examples of what is meant by growth, emotional growth. One is the physical or physiological growth, where of course Arjuna is a well-developed person, a great warrior, very well known for his prowess. And in fact, his name was Parantapa, meaning that in his presence, the enemies would shiver in his presence. So he was so well known. And still, when it comes to this kind of a situation, he broke down. He says, "I will not fight." This is called lack of emotional growth. This is a growth that we are talking about. So what is Bhagavad Gita about? Bhagavad Gita is a teaching where we can see a transformation in Arjuna. What is the transformation? In the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, before Lord Krishna started imparting a teaching, Arjuna said, Na yotsye, I will not fight. Nacha shreyo nupashyami hatva svajana mahave. Oh Lord, I see no good coming out of this battle. From that point, Lord Krishna imparted the teaching, and at the end, you know what Arjuna says? Nashto moha smritir labdha tvat prasadat mayachyuta stitosmi gata sandeha karishye vachanam tava. O Lord, nashto moha, my delusion is gone. Smriti labdha, now my sense of discrimination has come back to me. Stitosmi gata sandeha, I have no doubts at all about what is the right thing to do. Karishye vachanam tava, I will abide by what your desire is. I will do what is the right thing to do. Thus for Arjuna, this was the choice. What he liked to do and what was right to do. What he liked to do was to avoid, Arjuna's situation is not an easy situation. He is confronted with a lot of pain. So what happens is, very often in our life, doing what is right involves pain, involves hardship, involves discomfort. Sometimes what is right is not that easy. And therefore, there is a tendency to take an easy way out, take a shortcut. To give you my own example, many years ago, since several years now, I have started visiting United States every summer. Nowadays things are quite different, but then in the olden days when we first started coming, there were lots of restrictions as far as the customs were concerned, and there were lots of duties on all electronic goods and things like that. You did not get those things in India. There was always a temptation to take them, carry them with you when you return to India. But of course, if you take tape recorders with you, other electronic items with you, which were dutiable, you were subject to paying the customs duty. So once I was returning with 2 big suitcases. The friends were very kind to me. They brought lots of gifts for me as I was leaving, which involved many of these electronic items. I thought it's a good idea, let me take them for my ashram. So when I landed at Bombay airport, then came this question. The customs officer asks me, Swamiji, do you have something to declare? The customs officer was wondering, why your suitcase so heavy, Swamiji? Oh, I am carrying lots of books. Swamis carry books, Do you have anything to declare? Now comes the choice between what I like and what is right. What is right is to declare what all I am carrying with me. That would involve a very heavy penalty. Those days they would charge duty plus penalty. 100% duty, 125% penalty. Means what? Thousands and thousands of rupees, some 75,000 rupees, something like that would be a huge penalty. That's a lot of money even for a Swami, So, thus arises a conflict in my mind between what is right and what I like. What I like is clear. In fact, there are two fellows within me. One fellow within me says, Swami, you are giving all lectures on values and dharma and Vedanta, and they ever say, yes, that you have this to declare. there is also a greedy one in me. And that greedy fellow says, hey, what does it matter? Just say no, it's a simple thing. Say no. Because still these Swamis are respected in India. With these garments, with these robes, they respect you. So if I told the customs officer that I have nothing to declare, he would let me go. What is right and what I like. I will not tell you what I did, Meaning that very often what is right is not easy. It may be painful. It may involve hardship. It may involve paying the price. It may involve sacrifice something that is dear to you. And therefore, difficult to make these choices. But then, therefore, we come to making the right choices. What is living intelligently? Can be simply said as making the right choices. What are the choices? Choices can be simply said as between what is right and what I like. You may have heard the name of an Upanishad, its name is Kathopanishad. Some of you may have heard. Those of you who are exposed to Vedanta may have heard of Kathopanishad. We have Upanishads. Upanishad is part of Vedas. And they have this profound teaching. It's called Vedanta. So I am a teacher of Vedanta. What is Vedanta? A body of knowledge called Upanishads. And whole body of knowledge derived from Upanishads. So Bhagavad Gita is an essence of Upanishads. So Bhagavad Gita also is called Vedanta. Brahma Sutras explain the Upanishad. They are also called Vedanta. And so many other texts are there. They explain Vedanta. They explain these texts. They are all Vedanta. So, one of the Upanishads, quite well known, and a very important Upanishad, all Upanishads are important, but well known is Kathopanishad. This Kathopanishad gives a very beautiful imagery. Imagery. It compares the human life with a journey. Journey is one thing, and wandering is another thing. There is a book by Tapovan Maharaj called Wandering in the Himalayas. What is wandering? You just wander. You go from one place to the other as you like, where there is no particular destination. Just wander along. But what's a journey? What's a pilgrimage? Pilgrimage is where there is a destination. In wandering, there is no particular path that you take, and therefore any path is as good as any other path. When it comes to journey, then there is a destination, and therefore there is a path leading to that journey. So Kathopanishad says that the human life is like a pilgrimage, like a journey. And when there is pilgrimage or journey, then there is a destination. Again, people ask this question, Swamiji, is there a purpose of life? Does human life have a purpose? Is there a goal of life? Is there a destination? The answer is yes, very much there is, very much a destination. But Swamiji, different people are doing different things. Everybody is going in their own direction. Everybody seems to have their goals and purposes. That does not seem anything common in what human beings are doing. People come from east to west, from west to east, north to south, south to north. Somebody is acquiring things, somebody is giving up things. That doesn't seem any common in what people are doing. Do the human beings have a common destination? Answer is no. Human beings have a common destination. Meaning that all of us are born with a common destiny or common goal. But Swamiji, if there is a common goal, then how come different people are doing different things? Quite different, quite contrary to each other. Why? That is because different people have different understanding of what the goal is. You follow? Different people have different understanding of what the goal is. From Detroit, you want to go to New York. So somebody knows that New York is in east. Somebody may say New York is in north. Somebody may think New York is in south. Somebody says New York is in west. So if you find people going in different directions, it is not because they want to go to a different place, but they have different notions about where their destination is. Similarly, when we find people doing different things in life, it is not because they are desiring different things, that they have a different understanding of what they want is. So Swamiji, what's the destination? What does the human being want? What's that common goal? Different people have different likings. What's the common goal? Here we come to another Upanishad. It is called the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, where there is a famous dialogue between sage Yajnavalkya and his disciple wife. Not only wife, but disciple. Maitreyi. A very famous dialogue between Yajnavalkya and Maitreyi. Once Yajnavalkya declares before Maitreyi, says, "Hey Maitreyi, I am now going to leave home. I am going to become a wandering monk. I am going to renounce. But don't worry, I have made enough provision for you to live comfortably." So Maitreyi asks a very unusual question of Yajnavalkya. Says, "Oh revered sir, if I get the wealth of the entire earth, if I get the wealth of the entire earth, not only wealth that you are leaving me, if I get the wealth of the entire earth, will I become immortal? Will I become immortal if I get all the wealth?" Yajnavalkya says, "No, I am sorry. With wealth, you can live life in a comfortable manner, but immortality you cannot gain through wealth." So Maitreyi says, "What use do I have of the wealth which cannot give me immortality? I don't want this wealth. Please give me that by which I can become immortal." Yajnavalkya is perhaps not surprised, but mightily pleased. He says to Maitreyi, "Hey Maitreyi, you always been, and I always have loved you. But today I love you particularly, because today you display this sense of discrimination. Come, sit before me, I will teach you." So from then on, Maitreyi became the disciple. See, until then Yajnavalkya never told her these things. Yajnavalkya always knew. But when do you give this teaching? Not just like that. It is said that you should not impart this teaching unless asked for. Even Bible also says, don't throw away your jewels to swines, meaning that do not give it to one who is undeserving. Only impart the teaching to a deserving person who asks for it. So today, Maitreyi asked for it, and Yajnavalkya started teaching. And he makes a very profound statement right in the beginning. Hey Maitreyi, it is not for the sake of husband that the husband is dear to the wife. It is for the sake of the wife that the sake of her own self that husband is dear. Imagine this. It is not for the sake of husband that husband is dear to wife. It is for her own sake that husband is dear. And it is not for the sake of wife that wife is dear to husband. It is for the sake of the own sake that the wife is dear. And so on and so forth. In short, Yajnavalkya says that whatever is dear because of one's own self. Atmanastu kamaya sarvam priyam bhavati. Whatever is dear because of the self, because of the pleased self. So, to somebody, wealth is dear. Not for the sake of wealth, for the sake of the pleased self. To somebody, power may be, authority may be dear, not for the sake of authority, for the sake of the pleased self. This man went for an interview for a very senior position in a banking corporation in India, and he was selected. And then the interviewing panel, one senior member told this man, he says, we are offering you this job, this senior position, but we should give one warning, that whoever has accepted this position has had a heart attack in 6 months. You want the position? Position is dear not for the sake of position, for the sake of the pleased self. You know, one day somebody says, Swamiji, the other day you were fundraising, here is a lot of fund. Here is a lot of cash in this suitcase, right here before you. There's one thing is there, that this is stolen money and police is after that. Take this money. Do you think I'm going to take it? No. This one thing is common to all of us. In our life, whatever is dear for our own, meaning it for the sake of the pleased self. That means that each one of us has a goal of life, a destination in life. What is the destination? Simple destination, and that is the pleased self. So, what is intelligent living? That means we have a destination. When there is a destination, then there must be the path leading to destination. Then of course, there is a question of right choice or wrong choice. Is it not so? If you are wandering, there is no destination. Take any path. Like a buffalo has no destination, can take any path, wandering. But human being has a destination, and therefore there is a right choice, there is a wrong choice. What is intelligent living? Making the right choice. What is the right choice? The choice that leads me to my destination. Because it is possible for me to make a choice that may take me away from my destination. And therefore, Kathopanishad gives a beautiful imagery about our life, which is compared to a journey having a destination. And for carrying out that journey, we are given a very well-equipped vehicle. The whole infrastructure is given to us. And the Upanishad teaches us how to make the right choices in order to reach the destination in our life. With that, I will stop my talk tonight and will continue tomorrow evening. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.
Thank you everyone for attending today's session. Thank you very much, Swamiji. We're really glad to have you here and we look forward to tomorrow's session from you. Before we wrap up today's session, there's some quick announcements. Regarding tomorrow's session, we're planning to start a little early. We will start at 6:45. So we will have bhajans from 6:45 to 7. So try to join us for the bhajan session also if you can. And then from 7 to